Hello everybody, my name is InspirAspir. Welcome back to my Launchpad Light Show tutorial series. This is part 4, I believe, and if you want to go see part 3, you can click right here. Before we get into this tutorial, I'd like to say, I know some of you guys prefer my normal light shows over the tutorial series. I would like to give an update that I am working hard at making a new light show, which should be up soon, so don't worry. So we're going to jump right into it. Today I'll be talking about inversing, reversing, and probably changing speeds of your lights, because those seem to be more advanced concepts, or at least I think so. I think they seem to be more advanced. So I'm just going to go ahead, and we should already know how to draw in notes by switching to your pencil tool by pressing B. Let's just make a simple effect moving across. Or, well, no, let's do an effect I use a lot where it kind of bursts out and then comes into a focal point, like right here, so it kind of makes this effect. So we'll start in this corner, we'll draw, and I'll go step like frame by frame with you guys, even though I've memorized what this effect is. But I want to start here, we'll do another effect here, or a frame, I mean, another frame here. And so if you are curious as to what I mean by these little frames, I talked about it in my last tutorial, or the last part, where basically as this bar moves across this piano roll, as it hits the notes, they will light up, and so I created this effect right here. I'm going to go ahead and change the color of this. If you don't know about colors, wait, no, I talked about colors last time, yeah, that's right. No, we know about colors. We're good. So I changed this to a nice red. So we have this effect right here. Now, I switched back from my pencil tool to my selector tool by pressing B. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag and select this entire segment that I just made. There are a couple ways of how you can copy a certain segment. You can, right click and hit, can you not hit copy? Apparently not. I use Command C, or if you're on Windows, Control C, and then Command V to make a copied segment. So when this bar moves across, it's going to hit this light, and then once it comes over here, it's going to repeat the same pattern. The cool thing about this is once you have this selected, you can then drag and drop it wherever you want. So now I'm going to have two of these same effects going right here. And then if you want, you can do the same thing up here and up here. Now that's a very slow process, but I mean, whatever gets the job done. You could also, while you have whatever segments of lights you have, whatever segments of lights you want selected, you can hold Alt, and while they're selected, drag and drop them to wherever you want, and that will make a copied version of your lights, which is useful for saving time, copying and pasting it, and also you can, as you hold Alt and drag it, you can move it to wherever you want. Whereas if you just hit copy and paste, it will only be in the exact same position, the exact same piano roll notes, which can be nice at times. But that's just something that I think definitely will speed up your process. You can just highlight something, hold Alt, and then drag it over here, and then you can make like repeated effects. So like this effect right here will make like a stuttering, like a kind of pulsating pattern right here. And this can be useful if you want to drag this over here and then change this light, and then drag this over here and change this light. And then I'll get more in depth into this when I talk about fading and rainbows, which you see in a lot of my videos. But that's how you make that kind of effect right there, which actually looks pretty nice. So we're going to get into some more advanced features here. So we're going to use what we just learned. We can drag and drop this. And then now, if you look back, or if you look down in this bottom corner right here, there's a couple buttons that are super useful. There's this :2, this asterisk 2, a reverse and an inverse button. And I'll go over what they all mean. So we'll start with this top left, the :2. This will shrink whatever segment you have highlighted by half of its length. So if I press it right now, you'll notice that it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 squares, 7/16 of a a bar. If I press this half button, you'll notice that it should take up 3.5. So 1, 2, 3, and this guy's going to the half. And in fact, you can keep on doing it however many times you want, but it will get to the point where you can't even comprehend what's going on. But it is nice to have it if you want to speed up your lights. So for example, I'm just gonna delete these, move these here. Oops. And then you'll see that basically all I did was I have the same effect speed we just made before over here, but then this side will be half of this speed. Notice how much faster this side is compared to that side. So then the next button will be this asterisk 2, which you may have already guessed would actually double the speed. So right now I have this as half this speed. If I were to press the asterisk 2, it will double it, so in theory it should be the same speed right now. And then if I double it again, you'll notice this side is quicker than this side, because this side will be twice the speed. So that can be useful for changing the speeds. Another useful thing for changing the speeds is if you look up here, when you have something selected, there'll be this blue bar at the top, representing the area that your cursor dragged over. Even if you drag over areas where you don't have notes, this blue bar will be up here. But you'll notice these two little arrows, and those are where the first note and the last note appear within that region that you highlighted. So you have to have multiple notes in order for that to come up. So even if I highlight this big space right here and cover only these two notes, you'll have these two selected. And what these are useful for is you can hover your mouse over to any of these two arrows, and you can drag and slide them across the top, either left or right. And you'll notice that will change the speed of the lights. Not necessarily by a half or 2 times interval, just in general, to a more specific time. So that can be useful if you have more specific light effects. Another thing to look down here is this rev button, and what that does is it reverses the current segment you have selected. So right now I have these lights selected. If I hit reverse, you'll notice it flips it. Basically it draws like an axis down the middle vertically, and it mirrors it. It flips it around that axis. And this can be useful if I move this over like I showed you earlier. If you sorry, I did that pretty quickly. If you move it over and then you reverse it, you'll notice that what will happen is the lights will go on this right side like they did before, but then once they get here, they'll basically reverse and, you know, in time kind of, they'll go back the way they came, which can be pretty useful for any light effects that you have. Now, the next one I'm going to talk about is the INV, the inverse button. I'm going to go ahead and highlight this entire segment I just made, and I'm going to hold Alt and drag it down to this left half, which is, you know, this button down to this button. And right now, they're symmetrical. Well, not symmetrical, they're even. So what's happening right here is exactly happening here. Now if I were to press this inverse button, what happens is it does the same thing that the reverse button does, except instead of being flipped along a vertical axis, it gets flipped along the horizontal axis. So I'm going to show you on my camera right here. If these are your notes, like picture I'm trying to show you on the piano roll, if you have notes here, 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 whatever, it basically flips them this way. And you'll see right here, if I press it, it flips it. Now this is useful. This is really useful because just watch what that did. And compared to before when it wasn't inversed. So this might seem a bit weird, but a lot of times whenever I make light effects, I'll make them on one side only. And by one side I mean just focus on either this right half or this left half. And then I'll make whatever effect I want, and then I'll copy it and paste it to the square that is diagonal from. And by square I mean these 4x4. So if I make an effect in here, shooting across, I'll make one right now. If I make one, I'll delete what I have. If I make a light shooting from here, 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 just something random like that. I'll make a white square move across from here to here. Oop. There we go. So from here to here. Now I'm gonna go ahead, highlight this, hold Alt, and then I'm gonna move it to this square. So I'm gonna find the same square, the equivalent square that it starts on this one, but over here. So since I started here, I'm gonna move this first note to here and line it up at the same place. And then I'm gonna press inverse, and then watch what happens. It's mirrored. And so this is extremely useful to making symmetrical light effects. And basically what happens is, picture whatever light effect you make, if you highlight it and inverse it and move it somewhere else, no matter where, it's just nice if you move it to the side, but no matter where, if you made if you make a light effect and you inverse it, it's like you take that light effect and you 180 degrees rotate your Launchpad. So you'll see that this light effect moves diagonally here and then left. And if I were to flip my Launchpad 180 degrees, you should notice that this light effect moves from diagonally here and then moves left. It's the exact same thing. And so if you make some extremely complicated light effect, you can only have to make it on one side, highlight it, drag it over to this side, inverse it, and it will be symmetrical. Not saying you have to, but that is a tool in your arsenal. You can definitely use that and it will look really cool. I think that'll be it for this tutorial series, I think that'll be it for this part of the tutorial. I hope you guys enjoyed. Next time I think we'll go in depth about rainbows. I think that's been requested for a while, so I'll teach you guys how I make my rainbows. So stay tuned for that. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like. Be sure to subscribe so you catch more of the tutorial series in the future. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you in the next video. See ya.